The following is brought to you by goldseekmint.com. Silver and gold bullion directly from the mint. goldseekmint.com.
Welcome to Cambridge House Live. I'm Vanessa Collette here at the Sprott Symposium, and I'm live with Greg Johnson, President and CEO of Wellgreen, which is an exploration and development platinum company. Welcome, Greg. It's great to see you again.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Now, Greg, last time we spoke, you gave us an update on the company. Where does the Wellgreen project stand now in terms of development?
Well, it's been an exciting kind of half of the year for us, the first half here, 2014. We raised about $6.9 million in a financing. As your listeners probably know, it's been a challenging market, but we've been able to continue to attract investors. We've raised about $25 million over the last 18 months.
Wow.
So there's a lot of interest, particularly in the platinum space, and there are not very many names in platinum and palladium outside of South Africa or Russia. So we're getting a fair bit of attention. In addition, our technical studies have been advancing nicely, and we are looking to release a major resource update here in July, and then follow that with a metallurgical update and a updated economic assessment in the next 2 months. So it's an exciting period for us at Wellgreen, and everyone is pretty busy.
Yeah, so that's very exciting, and you kind of have your next milestones lined up in terms of getting to this updated pre-feasibility study, which is a major milestone for the company.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work to go into that. There's been about 2 years of exploration work, about 40,000 meters of new drilling, new studies on metallurgy, and new engineering concepts that we're bringing to bear on this. So we're all excited, and we think this is going to be a pretty substantive update that's going to give the market a better sense of the project that we're looking at Wellgreen.
Now, you were able to raise almost $6 million last month. This is a tough market to raise money in. Where do you think where was the money mostly coming from?
Well, we saw a variety of interest. We have a very strong existing shareholder base who participated again in this round. And then we brought in a number of new institutional investors who are focused in the resource space, recognizing the qualities of this asset and wanting to be part of it going forward. So it was a mix of those two sources, and we would anticipate as we advance the project with these new studies, there'll be increased interest in terms of future financings or just in the market.
Right. And platinum, I guess the sector is so small in terms of the mining companies. It's kind of similar to the silver space, maybe before the silver space started to get a lot of attention. Why do you think platinum has become such a buzzword in the sector?
Well, the fundamentals are probably, of all the precious metals, the strongest right now in platinum and palladium. We've had a trend of increasing demand really since the 1980s in both platinum and palladium, the largest single use of which is catalytic converters. And so that increasing demand year on year has resulted in a need for more metal production, which up until about the mid-2000s was happening. We were seeing increasing mine supply. But since 2006 for platinum and since 2004 for palladium, we've actually seen global mine supply falling out of South Africa for platinum and out of Russia for palladium. And so this has created a situation on the fundamental basis where today we have a deficit in terms of total demand versus mine supply coming out of the ground. And in fact, if we didn't have the recycling industry, we wouldn't be able to meet just the need for catalytic converters. So it's very strong fundamentals that we may continue to see these metals move higher as they seek to kind of balance out the supply-demand equation. And
palladium just hit a 13-year high, and that's pretty huge. Is that mostly because of what's been happening in Russia?
It's this long-term trend. I mean, the strikes that have been announced in South Africa have had a factor. The recent global situation with Russia, Ukraine has had a factor. But more significantly, this has been in place since 2004 and 2006 because of falling mine supply. So what that deficit in production has done is it's effectively created surplus supplies have come into the market to meet that demand level. And so we're seeing shrinking levels of readily available metal, and that's resulted in a rising price dynamic. Both platinum and palladium are looking very positive. They seem to have come out of the bear market. They seem to have hit their lows and are seeking higher prices. And with those fundamentals, and because of the challenges in mining, many of these deep, high-cost underground mines in places like South Africa, this is a long-term issue, not something that's short-term news-driven.
Well, speaking of, platinum supply, what's your development timeline for the project? When are you going to be supplying platinum to the market?
Well, that's the thing that's exciting about our Wellgreen project is it's located in the Yukon just off of the Alaska Highway. So we have paved highway access to the project, 2 existing port facilities that are year-round shipping ports. And so that's going to facilitate this project being able to be advanced quite rapidly. We're looking to deliver the project towards feasibility in the next year or 2. And to be able to start construction shortly after that. So this is really kind of a 2 to 3 year timeline on this project to see it go from growth, early development stage to moving into production. And that's quite a rapid clip for a North American-based project.
Absolutely. And how do you plan on funding the development?
Well, we would expect there will be some additional equity raises to take this through feasibility. We would expect our existing shareholders to participate in those. But we also have quite a bit of built-in money that's going to come in through the exercise of warrants that have already been tied to past financing. So that's already kind of baked into the total outstanding fully diluted share capital. So, looking at our needs going forward, they're relatively modest. Up until the point where we need to raise capital to build the mine, we're looking at tens of millions, not hundreds of millions. And then when we look at actually construction of the mine, because we're focusing on a smaller capital concept in terms of the startup, we have a number of opportunities like working with smelting groups to do offtake arrangements, potential partnerships, and other approaches that can facilitate reducing dilution and maximizing the exposure for our investors to this world-class asset.
Now, you said that the infrastructure on site was quite good. I guess power has traditionally been a big issue in the Yukon. So what's your plan for?
Yeah, there's some big changes in the works in the Yukon. Historically, 95% of their grid is hydroelectric, and the other has been made up of diesel power generation. The Yukon is currently in construction of 2 new LNG-fired power plants that they're putting in place. And on our own project, we've already negotiated an MOU with a natural gas supplier out of the state of Alaska. Okay. So we're looking at a much lower cost alternative to diesel, and that should be very positive for our upcoming economic study. And we've already signed that supply MOU to get that process started.
How are relations with the First Nations?
We have an excellent First Nations group that we're working with. Our project sits in the core treaty area for the Kluane First Nation. So they have selected lands for mining adjacent to our project and are really strong supporters of the work that we're doing. So we're very pleased. We have a nice collaborative working relationship with them. We have an exploration cooperation agreement already in place, and they are strong supporters of the development of the project.
Where do you see the platinum market going forward?
Well, it's hard to always, judge on these markets, but it's been a long bear market for the metals themselves. Right. We've seen that bottom, we believe, put in place. The fundamentals argue for higher metal prices. Many of the top analysts are projecting prices to exceed $2,000 an ounce for even both metals, potentially. So we're quite bullish. We, of course, are using conservative metal prices in our economic assessments, typically around the 3-year average price level. But that doesn't mean we're not bullish for where the prices could go from here.
Awesome. Well, it's very exciting. We'll certainly be watching with interest, and thank you so much for stopping by, Greg.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.